Hello, for my foreign relations presentation, I decided to pick South Africa, and I will be discussing South Africa and India by Santit. For my introduction, I will be discussing the relationship between India and South Africa, exploring the ideas of their shared history, the resistance movements and cultural connections, political connections and movements that have stemmed from their connections. One of the most known things about a connection between South Africa and India is that Gandhi lived in South Africa from 1893 until 1914. He originally went there as a lawyer, and he faced a lot of racial discrimination while he was there. One of the most well-known stories of when he was there is that he faced racism when he went to travel by train, having a ticket, and they denied him access. So these experiences exposed him to systemic racism under colonial rule, and he began organizing the Indian community against the unjust laws. And then he developed the idea of, I don't know how to pronounce that word, but it means nonviolent resistance. So, since Gandhi spent 21 pivotal years, 1893 to 1914, in South Africa, going from a lawyer to a political activist while he was there. Without this trip, he wouldn't have become the political figure he is now known as today. And on the side, I have a picture of him. I believe it is a picture of him in South Africa, but I may be incorrect. India traveled to South Africa. Indians first arrived in South Africa in the 1800s while it was under British rule. The majority of South African Indians lived in, I don't know how to pronounce that word either, I'm so sorry, Providence, and it holds one of the largest Indian populations outside of India. Many of the Indians that traveled there were laborers working on sugar plantations. Others came as merchants and traders. Over time, they built strong communities and cultural identity in South Africa. And like I said earlier today, South Africa has one of the largest Indian populations outside of India. Because of this travel, it created a lot of long-term cultural and economic ties between the two countries, and these cultural and economic ties are still very prominent today. Some other impacts were cultural food. Indian food became a part of South African culture through migration. Like previously mentioned, Indians were brought to South Africa in the 1800s under British rule, and when they did this migration, it brought a lot of cultural cuisines. They brought cooking traditions, spices, and recipes from India, and I found it really cool that food adapted over time using local ingredients and created and resulted in a blended cuisine that is both Indian and South African, and there's two examples on the screen. Yeah. Thank you, and all my works cited is on this slide.